there is a clause and there is a premise for the existence. There is a premise to set a premise to deal with the application of the preposition on. There is a building. This is a premise to deal with the two clauses that include the two objects. The two subjects. The first clause is this. A convenience store occupies the first floor. The first exemplary clause deals with the convenience store, that is the subject of the clause. This clause is about the subject, the condition of the subject. A convenience store described by the transitive verb occupies. The second clause is this. A restaurant occupies the second floor. The second exemplary clause deals with the restaurant, that is the subject of the clause. This clause, the second clause, is about the condition of the subject, a restaurant, described by the transitive verb occupies. And the two subjects in the first and second clause are located in a building, stated as the premise to deal with the two places, a convenience store and the restaurant. The two clauses deal with the two clauses deal with each subject, but do not deal with the relationship between each subject. We understand that the two subjects are in the same building, but the two clauses do not reveal the relative, locational relationship in a clause. The third clause that the preposition on is applied is this. The restaurant is on the convenience store. As we admit that the convenience store is on the first floor of the building and the restaurant locates on the second floor of the same building. So we can understand that the two clauses about each subject are integrated into a clause that the preposition on is applied in. The speaker applies the preposition on to signify the locational relationship between the subject, the restaurant, of the preposition, and the object, the convenience store, of the preposition that are the subject of the first and second exemplary clauses. In this clause, the be verb is describes the subject. The be verb, whose form is in is classified as an intransitive verb. So we can understand that the speaker who states this clause is the subject, and the subject of this clause, the restaurant, is the object of the statement by the speaker. And the preposition on mediates the subject, the restaurant, and the object, the convenience store, in the subject-object relationship. The definition of the preposition on mediates the subject and object reliant on the actualization of the be verb is. Be verb is describes the existence of the subject, the restaurant, at the present when the speaker states this clause to the listeners. So we can understand that the moment when the subject, the restaurant, locates in the upper part of the object, the convenience store, is at the present. When the subject of the clause, the restaurant, and the subject of the be verb is, the subject and the subject of the preposition on exists. We can understand that the transitive verb mediates the subject and the object in the subject-object relationship with the definition of the verb, of the transitive verb. We also understand that the form of the transitive verb can reveal the tense. The tense reveals the gap between the present when the clause is stated to the listeners in the conversation at the present, and the point in time when the definition of the transitive verb actualizes. So, by the way, the mediation by the preposition on mediates the subject-object relationship with the definition of the preposition. The mediation between the subject and the object from the definition of the preposition is reliant on the actualization of the definition of the verb. So we can understand that the actualization of the definition that the preposition delivers is reliant on the tense revealed by the form of the verb. For example, we can think of this clause. I attach this on the screen. I attach this mouse on the screen. In this clause, the preposition on is also applied in. Is also applied, and the speaker actualizes the definition of the transitive verb attach at the present. And we can think of the relationship between the speaker as the subject and this object, this mouse, as the object of the preposition, object of the transitive verb attach. The speaker and this mouse are mediated by the definition of the transitive verb attach. And at the same time, when the speaker and this mouse as the object are in the interaction mediated by the definition of the transitive verb attach, the other interaction is valid. The other interaction is in this mouse as the subject and the screen as the object mediated by the definition of the preposition on. When the speaker actualizes the definition of the transitive verb attach, we can understand that the definition of the preposition on is concurrently actualized. So we can understand that there are two interactions, the speaker and this mouse, mediated by the transitive verb attach, and this mouse and the screen, mediated by the preposition on as the second interaction. We can also think of this clause, I attached this mouse on the screen. I will actualize the action then I can state this clause. In the conversation with the listeners, I attached this mouse on the screen. The speaker as the subject completed the action described by the transitive verb attached, whose form reveals that this clause is stated in the past tense. As the speaker as the subject completed the action, and the action is not valid at the present when we have a conversation. So we can also think of the correlation between the actualization by the definition of the transitive verb attached in the past and the actualization of the definition that the preposition on delivered was reliant on the past when the speaker as a subject actualized the definition of the transitive verb attached. Based on the fact that the two clauses are merged into a clause with the preposition on, it is obvious that the preposition practices the role of adverb. So the preposition is classified into a sort of adverb.